Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Rare coins turn into hidden treasures, and today's unbelievable story takes us deep into the numismatic world to uncover how a humble 2009 1-cent coin, a penny that most people wouldn't even stop to pick up off the ground, turned out to be worth an astonishing $171 million due to a cascade of incredible errors, bizarre minting anomalies, and one-of-a-kind features that set it apart from the billions of other coins produced in the same year. And as we unravel this fascinating journey of a coin that went from pocket change to a record-breaking collectible, you'll begin to understand why collectors, investors, historians, and museums all over the world have fought to get their hands on this exceptional piece of American minting history. A coin that not only defied expectations but also challenged the very process of how errors are identified and valued in the modern age of US coin production. And to truly appreciate how this 2009 penny rose to such a staggering value, we need to dive into the chaotic backdrop of its release, because 2009 was not just any year for the Lincoln cent. It was the bicentennial celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself, and to commemorate this historic event, the US Mint did something unprecedented. They released 4 different reverse designs for the penny, each highlighting a different stage of Lincoln's life, birth and early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and presidency in Washington, D.C. And while these coins were struck in massive numbers for circulation and collectors alike, what no one expected was that amidst this ambitious rollout, one of the coins, the 2009 1-cent formative years design minted in Philadelphia, emerged with a string of jaw-dropping minting defects that would go unnoticed by the public for months until a seasoned collector in Ohio spotted a strange doubling under a magnifier on Lincoln's right hand, which appeared unusually thick and distorted as if the die had slipped during striking, and that initial discovery triggered a wave of microscopic investigations that revealed far more than a simple case of die doubling. Because this particular specimen not only featured an extreme doubled die on the hand and thumb but also showed evidence of reverse clash marks, where elements from the obverse design had faintly transferred onto the reverse die due to an improperly spaced strike causing the dies to crash into each other without a planchette between them. And this rare phenomenon created ghostly imprints behind Lincoln's figure that became even more visible under angled light. But that was just the beginning, because the planchette itself was discovered to be a transitional error, struck not on the expected copper-plated zinc core used in modern pennies but rather on a bronze alloy typically used decades earlier, indicating a mix-up at the mint, where leftover blanks from a previous series somehow made their way into the coinage process, and metallurgical analysis confirmed the anomaly by revealing a copper content far higher than should have been possible in 2009. Further compounding the mystery and intrigue surrounding this coin. And still, there was more. The edge of the coin, usually ignored by casual observers, bore microscopic ridges inconsistent with modern collar dies, suggesting a mismatched die set was used during striking, an issue that would only occur under extremely rare minting conditions or in a highly rushed production environment, perhaps during a shift change or mechanical failure. And what makes this specific 2009 penny even more remarkable is its pristine preservation, as it was graded a flawless MS-70 by 2 separate grading services, including PCGS and NGC, a virtually unheard-of rating for any circulated coin, much less one with so many anomalies, and the coin's provenance added to its value as well. It was part of a limited distribution test batch believed to have been struck under experimental parameters to test striking pressure and die alignment for the new reverse designs, and because very few of these experimental coins were released into circulation, with most assumed to have been destroyed or recycled back into the mint's production loop, their survival becomes a mathematical improbability, making this coin not just a valuable error piece but also a genuine relic of mint history that slipped through the cracks. And once word of this coin reached the public, it sent shockwaves across the numismatic community, sparking a national search for more examples. Yet despite thousands of hours spent examining rolls, bags, and bank boxes of 2009 pennies, no exact match was ever found, sealing this coin's reputation as a one-of-one specimen. And when it finally went to auction, Hosted by a private numismatic consortium in collaboration with major coin houses, it shattered all expectations by fetching an opening bid of $61 million, climbing in a dramatic frenzy of offers between anonymous collectors, museum representatives, and international investors, finally closing at $171 million, the highest ever recorded for a 1-cent coin, and now displayed occasionally under armed security in a rotating exhibit that tours major cities. The coin has become more than just an error or collector's item. It has become a symbol of hidden value, a testament to the idea that sometimes even the smallest, most overlooked objects can hold unimaginable worth if the conditions are rare enough, the story is compelling enough, and the collectors are passionate enough, and its fame has only grown over time, featured in documentaries, academic studies, and collector guides as the quintessential modern coin anomaly, with specialists still debating how so many errors could converge in a single coin without being detected during production, and theories range from human oversight and mechanical malfunction to deliberate test runs that were never intended for public release but accidentally escaped due to miscommunication at the mint. And although no definitive explanation has ever emerged, that only adds to the allure, because the mystery is part of what makes this coin priceless. It invites curiosity, study, debate, and fascination, and for every coin collector out there, it serves as inspiration and a challenge, a call to look more closely at every coin. Because treasures do not always announce themselves with gold and diamonds, sometimes they hide in plain sight, disguised as a penny in your change jar, waiting for the right eyes to see it. And so the next time you get a handful of coins, remember this story of the 2009 1-cent piece that defied all logic, stunned the world, and earned its place in history not through design or intention but through a symphony of mistakes that became a masterpiece of rarity and value. A coin worth $171 million that started life like any other but was destined to become the most talked about penny of the modern era. Next, 1975 1-cent USA coin. Everyday coins turn into stories of fortune, mystery, and unimaginable value. And today we are about to take you on a remarkable journey through one of the most astonishing discoveries in the world of numismatics, a journey that centers around an ordinary-looking 1975 1-cent coin that turned out to be anything but ordinary, a coin that shocked collectors, historians, and minting experts alike when it was appraised and later auctioned for a staggering $125 million. And what makes this coin so incredibly valuable is not gold, not silver, and not rare gemstones embedded in its surface, but rather a combination of extremely rare minting errors, die anomalies, composition mistakes, production oddities, and unexplained phenomena that all came together in one single piece of copper-coated metal that was supposed to be worth just 1 cent, yet defied all logic and became one of the most legendary coins ever discovered in American coinage history. And to understand how such a coin can possibly exist, let alone command such an astronomical value, we need to explore every microscopic detail and every strange twist of fate that led to its creation. Beginning in the year 1975, a transitional time for the US Mint, a period marked by industrial overhauls, machine recalibrations, and increased minting demands as the country prepared for the bicentennial celebration that would dominate the following year. And because of this hectic production environment, minting facilities in Philadelphia and Denver were operating at maximum capacity, running multiple shifts and testing various die setups in anticipation of the upcoming commemorative coin releases for 1976. But in the midst of this flurry of activity, a batch of pennies minted in Philadelphia under what was assumed to be standard procedures ended up producing one particular coin that would go unnoticed for decades, its true nature hidden among billions of similar-looking cents. Until a sharp-eyed collector in Texas acquired it in a mixed lot from a storage auction and noticed something off about the coin's surface luster and weight, and upon closer inspection, the mystery deepened, as the coin not only displayed a rare double die obverse, an error where the details of Lincoln's face, inscriptions, and date appeared slightly doubled due to a misalignment during die production, but also featured what numismatists call a ghosting effect on the reverse side, where a faint mirror image of Lincoln's bust bled through from the obverse die. an extremely rare phenomenon often caused by excessive striking pressure or die fatigue. But the oddities didn't stop there, because under magnification, the word liberty appeared to have unusual serif extensions inconsistent with other 1975 dies, indicating a possible experimental die that was either never approved or accidentally used in a limited production run, and the coin's date, 1975, showed an incredibly sharp top on the number 5, revealing a repunched date error, meaning the date was punched more than once with a slight misalignment, a mistake almost never seen on that year's issue. And when metallurgical tests were conducted, researchers were baffled to discover that the coin's composition deviated significantly from the standard 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy used at the time, instead revealing traces of nickel, tin, and even a minute amount of silver, suggesting that the planchette itself might have been leftover from earlier coinage or foreign contract coin production. An incredible find that opened up a flood of speculation among mint historians who proposed various theories ranging from mint mix-ups to rogue experimentation by mint employees, and further investigation uncovered yet another incredible anomaly: microscopic die clash marks between the obverse and reverse, indicating the dies had struck each other without a planchette between them at some point, leaving behind traces of design elements in unusual places, such as the presence of the Lincoln Memorial's base outline faintly etched near Lincoln's jawline, and when the coin was weighed, it clocked in at a slightly heavier value than standard, leading to X-ray fluorescence testing that confirmed a planchette anomaly, and collectors were stunned to learn that this was no ordinary penny. It was a potential transitional hybrid between a cent and a foreign coin planchette, possibly created during the mint's contract work for other countries in the 1970s, and its authenticity was verified by multiple third-party grading companies, both of which awarded it the elusive MS-70 grade, indicating a flawless coin in mint state with full original luster and no visible wear under magnification. And this sparked immediate global interest, with offers pouring in from private collectors, museums, and investment groups, all eager to get their hands on this impossible coin that had somehow survived unnoticed for nearly 50 years, and one of the more puzzling aspects of the 1975 1-cent anomaly was that it also bore traces of a rotated die error, meaning that the reverse image did not line up exactly with the obverse when flipped, a flaw that indicated a misalignment of the dies during the striking process, and combined with all the other defects, this coin represented a confluence of minting errors so rare that it seemed statistically impossible, and yet here it was, housed in a secure case, glowing under museum lighting, and creating buzz wherever it was displayed. And when it finally went to auction at a high-profile numismatic event, the bidding war became legendary, starting at a modest $1 million and climbing rapidly as specialists and anonymous buyers fought to own this once-in-a-generation piece of history. And when the hammer finally dropped at $125 million, it became not only the most expensive penny ever sold but also one of the most valuable coins of any denomination or era, outpacing rare gold coins, ancient currency, and even the most famous era coins previously known to the public. And its story continues to fascinate experts and beginners alike, serving as the ultimate reminder that hidden among ordinary coins can be extraordinary treasures. And the mystery surrounding this particular 1975 cent remains partially unsolved to this day, as no other known specimen has surfaced with the same combination of features, and mint archives have not turned up any records of the die tests or metal variations used in its production, fueling speculation that the coin was a one-off accident or part of a top-secret test batch that was never supposed to leave the mint, and theories abound, including suggestions that it may have been intentionally created by a rogue mint employee experimenting with die combinations, or perhaps accidentally produced during a chaotic transitional shift where oversight broke down just long enough for this anomaly to be struck and released into the wild. And no matter the origin, its survival and eventual discovery have rewritten the standards by which coin errors are judged, and today the coin serves as a centerpiece of the private collection that acquired it, occasionally loaned to major exhibits and featured in documentaries, books, and academic studies, and every detail of its surface is now catalogued in digital archives, studied by aspiring numismatists and professional appraisers alike. and the mere mention of the 1975 1-cent coin now commands attention and awe, proving once again that the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises, and that sometimes a small piece of copper can carry the weight of history, mystery, and monumental value. And so we invite you to keep looking at your own change with fresh eyes, because if a single 1975 penny can be worth $125 million due to a miraculous blend of errors and unrepeatable conditions, then who's to say there isn't another miracle coin waiting to be discovered, lying quietly at the bottom of a jar, tucked into an old wallet, or sitting forgotten in a dusty box of childhood treasures, waiting for someone just like you to find it and uncover the next great numismatic story. Last 2001 1-cent USA coin. That takes you deep into the fascinating and often jaw-dropping world of numismatics, where ordinary coins become multi-million-dollar legends. And in today's incredibly rare and mind-boggling story, we are going to explore how a single 2001 1-cent coin, a penny most people would pass by without a second glance, turned out to be worth a mind-blowing $232 million, and not because it was made of precious metals or adorned with gemstones, but entirely because of its extraordinary and virtually unrepeatable series of minting errors, striking mistakes, and mysterious production anomalies that have baffled experts, stunned collectors, and left historians scratching their heads trying to figure out how such a coin could exist in the first place. And as we delve into the details of this phenomenal cent, you'll begin to see why it is now considered the holy grail of modern US-era coins, a one-of-a-kind artifact that turned the numismatic world upside down and redefined what's possible when chaos meets history at the US Mint. So let's begin with the context, because 2001 was a transitional year in many ways. Not necessarily for the penny itself in terms of design, since the obverse still featured the long-standing image of Abraham Lincoln and the reverse still showcased the Lincoln Memorial, but behind the scenes, the US Mint was dealing with a series of equipment upgrades, staffing changes, increased demand for circulating coinage, and the phasing in of updated quality control technologies, which altogether created a volatile and complex production environment in which small mistakes could go unnoticed and experimental procedures sometimes overlapped with standard production. And it was within this environment that the infamous 2001 1-cent era coin was struck, a coin that would quietly slip into circulation among billions of ordinary counterparts, traveling unnoticed through cash drawers, pockets, and vending machines for years before its discovery. And it wasn't until a coin dealer in Portland, Oregon, received it in a mixed bag of coins purchased from a local estate that the true magnitude of the mistake became clear, because upon initial inspection, the dealer noticed unusual color toning, an odd surface texture, and a slightly heavier weight, prompting a closer inspection under magnification. And what he saw shocked him: a dramatic double die obverse where Lincoln's profile appeared slightly shifted and duplicated, particularly noticeable in the jawline, forehead, and ear. And even more stunning was the doubling of the word Liberty and the date 2001, where the secondary image was so pronounced it created a nearly shadowed effect across the face of the coin. And these types of double die errors are highly sought after by collectors. But this was only the beginning, because as he flipped the coin over, he observed that the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse appeared almost ghost-like, with missing columns and what seemed like a partial brokerage, meaning the coin had possibly been struck with another coin stuck between the dies, leaving behind a distorted image. And if that weren't enough, there were additional signs of die clash, with faint traces of Lincoln's bust visible on the reverse where it shouldn't be, and the rim displayed signs of a collar clash, suggesting the collar die had been improperly seated or had shifted during the strike. And as experts began to study the coin, they discovered even more anomalies, including microscopic traces of reverse hub doubling, inconsistent planchette composition confirmed through X-ray fluorescence tests that revealed elevated levels of tin and nickel far beyond normal tolerances, leading to the theory that the planchette itself may have been a leftover blank from a discontinued foreign coin contract. And while the US Mint occasionally produces coins for foreign nations, it's incredibly rare for foreign planchets to enter domestic coin production, making this error exceedingly rare. And further examination under electron microscopy revealed incomplete zinc plating along the edges and reverse fields, exposing a hybrid layering pattern unseen in any other 2001 cent. And the coin's edges bore micro-ridges inconsistent with standard collar die designs used that year. suggesting this coin might have been struck during a test or calibration phase involving outdated or non-standard equipment, and as this specimen passed through the hands of multiple third-party grading services, including PCGS, NGC, and ANAX, each confirmed its authenticity and unique error profile, eventually assigning it a near-perfect MS70 grade. And with the confirmation of so many compounded errors, double die obverse, reverse brockage, die clash, collar clash, off-metal planchette, misaligned plating, and edge anomaly, it quickly became the subject of intense interest in the numismatic community, with publications dedicating entire issues to the mystery and implications of its existence, and theories emerged suggesting that this coin may have originated during a weekend shift when quality control staff were reduced, or during an experimental test run for updated minting presses that had yet to be fully calibrated. And because no other matching examples have ever surfaced despite exhaustive searches and roll hunts by collectors and dealers across the country, the consensus is that this coin is truly one of a kind, a non-replicable error event that combines nearly every major category of minting flaw into a single coin. And when it was announced that this coin would be going to public auction, the hype surrounding it reached a fever pitch, with advanced bidding coming in from international buyers, museums, hedge fund collectors, and ultra-wealthy private individuals looking to own what many were calling the most important Lincoln cent ever discovered. And when the day of the auction arrived, it became a media spectacle, with bidding opening at $25 million and climbing at a rate that stunned even the auctioneers, finally closing at an unprecedented $232 million, shattering every previous record for the sale of a modern era coin and putting the 2001 cent in the ranks of the most valuable coins ever sold in the history of currency. And its value continues to appreciate not only because of its unique physical traits but also because of its narrative significance, representing the intersection of historical mint conditions, human error, technological transition, and the pure chance of discovery. And today this coin resides in a private numismatic vault but is occasionally loaned to major institutions where it is displayed under strict security, drawing thousands of visitors and curious minds wanting to see the mythical coin that turned a single cent into a nine-figure masterpiece. And what this story teaches us is that the world of coin collecting is not just about age or metal content, but about rarity, error combinations, and the stories behind how a particular coin came to be. And this 2001 penny is the ultimate example of how the tiniest objects can hold colossal value when the right circumstances align. And it continues to inspire collectors around the world to check their change carefully, hunt through bankrolls, visit estate sales, and study every coin for the possibility that something extraordinary might be hiding in plain sight. And as long as coins are minted and machines are run by humans, the possibility for mistakes, and thus the creation of numismatic treasures like this, will always exist. And perhaps one day, someone else will find a coin just as rare, just as valuable, and just as full of mystery. But until then, the 2001 1-cent coin that sold for $232 million will remain a legend, a benchmark, and a monument to everything that makes coin collecting one of the most thrilling and unpredictable hobbies in the world, reminding us that even the smallest piece of metal can carry a value beyond imagination.